Hi. Today, we live in a world that's very technologically advanced, and I think we take that for granted. Take, for example, the fact that we have computers that fit in our pockets that can give us millions, if not billions, of answers to a single question on a screen that responds to touch. Think of that. Think of the fact that 70 years ago, the first modern computer was released and it weighed 1,600 pounds. 1,600. Now I'm holding a computer that weighs 8.2 ounces. Now, you'd think with all these scientific advances in technology, we would be, like, really smart. And then you realize that businesses like Subway have to add labels like this to their wrappers. What happened? Why are we like this? Anyway, as technology continues to advance, so does its intelligence. Many companies, in a bid to stay young and hip and new, are trying to use AI to their advantage in all sorts of ways. And one of the industries, among many, that companies are looking at autonomizing is the trucking industry. Now, you might be thinking, what? That industry where a bunch of 50-year-old men live out of a space the size of a closet, leave their wives behind for months at a time, and drive with nothing else better to do with their lives? Yeah, they are thinking of changing it. Trucking is something that, if looked at quickly, doesn't seem very vital. Some dude hops in the back of a truck, drives across the country for a couple months with some stuff in the back of his or her trailer, and then just driving happens, gets to other places across the country, drops off loads, yada yada yada, whatever. However, trucking actually affects us all, whether it's getting caught behind one of these big hogs going 50 on the highway, or whether it's getting your specified snack to that dollar store you frequent. These machines drive. See what I did there? Little double entendre, huh? No? Okay. Well, this industry propels our society forward, and that's why companies are so invested in trying to autonomize industries like this one. With so many trucks on the road, there's a lot of room for human error and loss of cargo that may be needed. Like, have you seen Highway Through Hell? The amount of cargo that is lost on these crashes probably costs companies a couple $100,000 every single time, and the amount of cleanup is insane. In the US and Canada alone, there are just under 4 million combined people working in the trucking industry as semi-truck drivers. Now, each of their average salaries is $69,579 a year. Doing some quick math, that is equal to $278,316,000,000 a year on salary. I don't know what kind of money you come from, but I'm pretty sure that's enough. I don't know what for, but it's definitely enough. And of course, this isn't a one-time thing. This is yearly. Accumulatively, companies are spending this much money on truckers every single year. And you know for a fact these smug mother truckers are thinking they're untouchable. And I'll tell you this, they aren't. Or they may not be. We'll get to that. A disclaimer going forward for the next little bit, I'm going to use big boy words that have to do with AI and science. Self-driving cars are nothing new. Our main man and savior up there, Elon Musk, has been shaping our society to be human driverless since the Tesla Model S in 2014. Yeah, it's been a decade since that was released. Cars should fly by now. Come on, people, let's get on that. But you may be wondering, how does AI and science keep a self-driving car, or in this case a self-driving semi, inside the white and yellow lines? Well, the key word is sensors. Most self-driving automobiles today have cameras, GPS, and radar built into them, and they all work as a family to help the car see. How do they work? Good question. I will try to explain. First of all, let's talk about arguably the most important part of a car's visual system, LiDAR sensors. Now, LiDAR sensors are offshoots of regular radar sensors, but still have some shared characteristics. Like, if your LiDAR is basically that cousin that went to Harvard that your parents won't stop comparing you to. Actually, screw LiDAR for a second. It'll probably be easier if I explain radar first. I make the rules around here. I choose what I explain and when I explain it. Good? Good. Radar is a term we may hear in movies or other such productions, but not exactly question what it is. It's used in things like the aviation industry to keep track of aircraft locations. The big brain people who work at the airports send either microwaves or radio waves through the big old dishes you see on top of the airport and time the amount of time it takes from those waves to leave the dish, hit the plane, and bounce back towards the dish. This gives aircraft controllers a line of sight effectively on planes that may be many kilometers away. Systems like this are used on self-driving cars for certain situations. For example, light-based systems like LiDAR and cameras aren't really much use in conditions like fog. However, with radar, you basically have an eye in the dark. Or do you? You see, the reason that self-driving cars use multiple systems is because just using one system can leave you with a whole bunch of drawbacks. In radar's case, for example, it's a very limited way of seeing and can't pick up on fine details. It also has a very hard time picking up small objects. So it may be able to stop if, say, it senses another car up the road, but what if a pedestrian or a child walks out in front of the road on a foggy day? Radar may not be able to sense such a small object, and little Timmy don't have a future no more. But hey, it's okay. There's a reason we have multiple systems. Let's go on to LiDAR. LiDAR, instead of shooting many micro and radio waves out, shoots many light waves in all different directions, lets them refract off of the surrounding objects, and creates a 3D depth image from there. It does this by leaving a LiDAR laser on and using an outside device to break up the light stream reliably and consistently to create multiple beams of light every second that go in every direction to create a depth image. What's this device called? It's called a Mach-Zehnder modulator. This device uses the internet. Yes, I know, very shocking. The internet knows all and sees all. Or at least part of the internet. You see, when you search up something on Google, like how to make lasagna, everything doesn't just happen straight from your phone. The internet is made up of a system called integrated photonics, which is basically a series of very well-timed and accurate light beams that are used to carry information. These light beams can be as little as 100 picoseconds, or for you uninstitutionalized folk out there, it is approximately 0.00000000001 seconds long. Damn, that's fast. LiDAR systems use the same idea to build a 3D image through the Mach-Zehnder modulator. How it turns on and off so rapidly is through a system called interference. What this system does is it takes the original uninterrupted light beam and splits it into two parallel light beams that will run alongside each other. Eventually, when it gets to the end, these two light beams will rejoin and produce a normal light beam. But how does it turn on and off so rapidly? Well, if one of the light beams can be slowed down, then when they rejoin, they will be out of sync and will not produce a light beam. This is what's responsible for the rapid turning on and off of the light beam and the production of a 3D image. A system like this that puts out light bursts at about 100 picoseconds gives a depth resolution of a couple centimeters, which is honestly probably better than I can see without my glasses on. But the thing is, LiDAR alone, while it can see shapes and objects, cannot distinguish letters that may be on a road sign. This is where the cameras on the exterior of the car come in. As the automobiles approach a road sign, the cameras that are either concealed in the body panels of the car or on the top of the car read and interpret the road sign and act accordingly. These cameras are also fully responsible for keeping an AI car within the lines of whichever road it's following. These cameras are also fully responsible for keeping a car within the white and yellow lines on whichever road it may be traveling. And finally, the last sensory system I contractually have to talk about on this video is the GPS system. Self-driving cars use an advanced GPS system to pinpoint their exact location on a series of various maps. These maps include things like road signs and different speed limits that may be in certain areas. Now, finally, after all the sensors have taken their readings on their respective data points, they send their information to the car's main brain unit. This is where one or more powerful processors will look through the data that they've collected and turn it into the kind of information that a car can use and read. The self-driving car then drives to the destination that the passenger has set, or in the trucking industry's case, the business has set, and it proceeds to make its way to that set destination. Now, as humans, we have shown over time that we make many mistakes. There's a reason that the phrase human error exists. And computers may make mistakes too, but nowhere near as much as humans do. For this reason, an AI semi-truck may have a better response time to an unforeseen condition it may find on its route. This could majorly reduce the amount of crashes that these truck companies deal with every single year. Okay, and what do we have? Oh my god, we're done, finally. A lot of science talk, but it was needed to explain how this works. After hearing all that, you might be thinking, whoa, Matthew, that's insane. Like, maybe the entire industry should go autonomous. But you don't know the half of it, man. Like, we're just getting started here. Let's talk about the driving force of every person you know. It drives politicians, CEOs, even Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson himself. That's right, money. Money is very hard to come by these days, and I'd like to remind you that an average trucker salary is $69,579 a year. Businesses are hemorrhaging that much a year times 4 million. That's a lot of money, and that's every year. But if you don't, I repeat this, if you don't add maintenance cost, a self-driving semi-truck would be a one-time purchase. Now, I'm not saying that's a cheap purchase by any means. For example, a Tesla semi-truck. One of the pioneering names in self-driving cars, period, and now starting to make a name in self-driving trucks. How much is one of theirs going for? Over $200,000 a truck. Oh, sweet baby Jesus. But hey, it's a one-time purchase. It can't be so bad, right? Let's just do some quick math. 200,000 times 4 million. I'm just going to look over here at my script. That is $800 billion. For 2 countries. The industry is going to go bankrupt before they ship anything, I tell you. But if you get over the price tag, you'll see that in a couple of years, depending on how reliable these semi-trucks are, the investment should pay itself off in just a couple of years. Now, you may be thinking, well, that's great for business. And you're right, it's great for businesses. What we seem to forget most of the time is that in order for a job to exist, there has to be people that do work for that job. In this case, over 4 million combined from Canada and US work as truckers. Replacing all of their jobs with technology puts 4 million people out of a job. It affects 4 million families. But lo and behold, from the depths springs up another counter argument. Matthew, what about these trucks that are going to hit the road now? There's going to be so many jobs opening up over new mechanics. That industry is going to start booming now. That's where all the truckers could go. Well, semis like this are a lot different than what truckers may already be used to working on. They're a lot more technologically advanced. It's a lot more computer engineering than it is more mechanical. Okay, and let's be honest here, how many of these middle-aged, now unemployed men are going to want to go back to school to learn how to work on an engine now, and they're already halfway through their life? Sure, a change like this would open up a lot of potential jobs for the next generation, but this generation, their best bet's probably going to McDonald's and looking for a job. Many truckers have stated worry about the changing landscape of the trucking industry, stating that they think that their job will be taken over by AI in a matter of years. However, as has been said in many reports, it does seem like a full-on rollout is still quite a ways away. Some of these trucks are already on the road, but for legal reasons, they require a trucker to be in the seat at least, just in case something goes wrong. So while they may not be hands-on all the time, they still do have a job as a failsafe for these AI trucks. Then there's the ecological aspect. With an AI semi-truck, it will most likely be electric. This will cut down on one of humanity's greatest issues, massive fuel consumption. Whoa, did you see this coming? Counter-argument. The amount of lithium mining that would need to happen to create the batteries to create this amount of semi-trucks would cause a great amount of mining waste and pollution in itself, which would kind of undo all the good that an electric semi-truck would do anyways. This could range from destruction of mountains that are seen as mines, or even pollution of lakes with said mining waste. Either way here, the upsides and the downsides do leave the arguments on pretty even ground overall. Alright, we've gone through everything, now let's wrap this thing up nice and tightly. What do you think of the matter of AI trucking really varies on your position relating to the industry? If you work in the trucking industry, you're most likely against AI trucking because you're out of a job, your family would be affected, and any of your friends that are also in the trucking industry would be affected as well. However, business aspects, if you're a business owner and you deal with the trucking industry, you're going to want AI trucks because it can cut you down money in the long run. You won't be paying as much every single year on your trucking salaries. If you're not intertwined with it, you really probably just care about how long your product takes to get to the store, so you don't really care. Just whatever goes fastest. Anyway, whichever way you slice it, turning the trucking industry autonomous both has its upsides and its downsides. And just like industries before, technology will take over in due time, but that's still a bit of ways from where we are today. To that point in time, it'll be the right time. Maybe there will be a mass recession and people wanting to leave their families behind to go drive a big old truck for months and months at a time. Who knows? Maybe it'll fall in line with the society of the future. Maybe it'll be more cost-effective and efficient than ever. Until then, though, we're stuck with these power-hungry road hogs who take up the highway trying to deliver some much-needed green beans to that store just down the road. Please stay safe. Watch out for incoming trucks. and goodbye.